Hi everybody, this is a quick guide about my build. Keep in mind in L-Clock there are going to be various builds, but not too many, like not infinite, but if you know some of the powerful builds, you can do very good in this game. This is good for both the campaign and just knowing this build at the end game can be very useful. Alright, you can actually change the lasso with, for example, slow time. And if you want to combine something to give you extra conviction shield, you can. But this is also built on lots of life steal, so I don't actually need it. But again, once you keep it, you can also get upgrades for it. And also activate it manually. It gives you, you can actually stun enemies. You can see if you activate it. But the thing is that why it's actually even not needed, you're going to find out soon. So, what's the build is about? Summons, alright? If you click again, they're going to rage and they're going to be more of them. Alright, you're going to soon see why. This is just for moving faster and dashing, just in case I need to, out of trouble. Level 1. This is the only glossary, all the things that you're going to see here, moving. And going to be lots of them. They'll all be the player and dealing lightning damage. So this is a lightning build, in most part. Summon, alright. Projectile, they'll deal physical damage, alright. But it's not about their damage, although I want them to deal damage, but I want to see the synergy with the crit, you understand. But this is about them carrying the Holy Rosary. This is for reducing cooldown with synergy that I'm going to show you in a moment. It allows me to, because in the game we're going to move, especially if we're playing with timer, it won't happen. If they're just going to fight enemies, they won't follow me. They just keep finding enemies. By default, they do. So I want to spawn, be able to, if I move fast, to spawn them again and keep attacking. In order to do that, I need something that significantly reduces the cooldown. Because I have a high rank here, high level, that increase both the cooldown, you see 45 seconds, and 1 in 40 mana. So it's going to be almost instantly once there's so many enemies, especially late game, once you use the Bombardment. Because then you can just rush, spawn, rush, for enemies, spawn. You don't need to wait for them to finish or wait for a long cooldown. It's essential for the build. So, these are the core items. What actually makes the build is the relics. This kind of everything glued together. Without the relics, everything falls apart. Keep in mind, this is for my pre-release version of the game. This is why I want the icons actually missing here for the upgrade. Anyway, because this is not the final version of the game. So what I'm going to do, let's say, first of all, remove these 2 items, because I want to show you what happens if I don't have this. So, right now, let me see. No, just a second. I missed something. Yeah. So you can see that right now, yeah. You see when I'm activating it, it happens around me. But you see what happens if that it goes away from me. It both activates around me and it goes further away from me. It's a disadvantage. Let me show you why. It also doesn't spawn on them. It spawns around me. What I wanted to do, I want to each one to have what I have. So it multiplies by the amount I have here. I also want it to be static. And why? You're going to see in a moment. Let me just put it here. So first of all, let's check what each one does. This one, summon the guards just by clicking this button to spawn them. Buff replaced by double the amount of guards. Instead of them shooting faster, it doubled their amount. Alright? Critical hit chance is multiply is very important. By the way, the other affixes are random, but the reason I wanted the critical hit chance is because of a synergy that activates this one automatically. We're going to see it soon. Holy Rosary is scaled from current summons instead. So not when I'm located, when they are located. And it scales with summon damage. I asked the developer if it also scales with the damage of the skill itself. They told me, yeah, so it should. So yeah, it's supposed to scale with both of them. So this means it scales, I think, also with, but it wasn't clear here. All right. So this means a double scale of damage, from my understanding. All right. Holy Rosary orbits the player at constant distance. This is, by the way, now, because it spawns on them, it won't spawn on me, but it's still going to be constant distance. Why we want constant distance? By the way, it also dealing plus 74% damage as well. which it's important because this one reduces the damage for 14% when it scales on the summon, so we need that extra. So this kind of fills in with other things. So what happens now? You can see that they are getting now, so it's like multiple of them, and it's the same distance, you see? So what happens if I click Q, and it's going to be the same distance? Look at that. It's going to shred enemies that get in, right? And it's very controllable on the location. If there is a boss, I can just put it in a certain section here and just going to get so much damage rather than just seeing everything flies away. You see what? Want to see what happens if everything flies away? You see, it's not going to be the same. It's just expanding. You don't get these intersections. Right? It's a huge difference. In terms of damage, it's a huge difference from experience, of course. Cast Lasso on critical damage. Now, Cast Lasso, this means that I get this second, the stunning. This means that you're going to stun like crazy on critical. Now, if you check out the crits, you can actually see that I have 26 here. But trust me, even that, with all the projectile going on, and they're also shooting. They're not just spinning, they're also shooting. And me also bombarding, the chance you're gonna get crit is super fast. Some of the bosses, they couldn't even move because I was just stunning them. Just couldn't do anything, basically. Alright, so this is great. Also here, critical hit chance. This is again important for the synergy to happen. Only Rosary fires automatically for every 10 meters you move. Why it's important? I don't need to use mana. I'm just moving and it's working. Look at the Rosary. Right? But if I activate, it actually amplifies them. If I do decide to activate, I have even more. But even just in case I don't want it for whatever reason, I can just move and it just generate them. No mana. You see the mana here? No mana is used. It's just move. It's crazy. And if I activate it and have this and I'm moving at the same time, look at that. It's pretty nuts. Right? That's where you get all the crazy one, which amplify the damage even more. Alright? So this is amazing. And bleeding enemies deal reduced damage to. This is for reduced damage, for survivability. And the way they bleed, because this, I just want to show you this one. You see, suffer bleeding, all right, and stun, all right. No, this is physical damage. So this is going to deal bleeding damage, and because it happens very frequently, you can understand that why actually enjoying this one a lot. Bleeding enemies deal 20 plus reduced damage to you. Great, right? This is Lasso applies 80% life link on enemies for 3 seconds. Tons of life steal. It's crazy. This is why I drop other things and not focusing on even a conviction shield, because I'm getting so much health so fast with all of this that I'm just so durable. Even if I get it, it generates so fast. It's just crazy. You can get even, of course, more durable if you also focus on conviction, which you can. Always, if you take, for example, this one, there are some items that synergize with this one. If you are inside, you can get conviction, and because I'm also increases the mana usage, you're going to get lots of conviction as well. So you can even use them both. But I didn't need to as of now, even doing hell 25. So let's go back to that. This is something I just added. Ignore that. This is a must. Bombardment now follows the player. Gain 20% plus increase damage rate. Now the reason it's good is because we want. It's not just with that. Sorry, it's both of them. First of all, this plague damage, but it recovers 6% of all cooldown. You know how crazy it is, especially when you get even more cooldown. This means that I can actually, why it's important, and why it's important that it follows me, because those will fight enemies here, and I wanted to, you know, to what I said before, to activate it fast, right? As I explained earlier. So if I, I don't need to wait all these cooldowns, it's 45, but I have some other cooldowns reduction, so it's 25. But it's going to be like 2 seconds, or whenever there are many enemies. It's going to be almost instantly once I activate this one and they eat enemies. And the reason I want it to follow me, because it's time-based, if you decide to go with timer. So I want always to be moved. Enemies activated, cooldown reduced, spawn them again, clear, move on to the next, and that's it. Otherwise, I need to wait, and I can't wait when I'm using a timer. So it's essential to have this. It wouldn't work otherwise. All right, so this is the core idea of the build. All right, pay attention now to the cooldown of the guard, right? The more the thing is that it scales the more enemies there are. The more enemies there are, the better it is. This is why it's so good, because they're gonna have lots of enemies, right? Especially as you diving into more difficult parts of the act. So you can see, actually, pay attention to the cooldown. Activating immediately was active, you see? Immediately. Because you're going to get lots of cooldowns also during the round, right? It's not of what you have and the reduction. See? Activating. So I'm just moving and can activate them again. And they're raging again, so again, the most of them. So almost all the time I can have them at the maximum, double the amount of the size of the regional, because I continue pressing spawn. So my tips to you, focus also on getting, except from damage, the cooldown, the rage cooldown. There are some upgrades for that during the run, so you can actually reduce the cooldown of that skill. But again, once you get things get active, you're going to find that it's much faster than what you have. But as more as you get more cooldowns, you're going to see just you can even activate it when needed almost instantly. You can see that the constant distance is amazing. They're going to come to you. Most of the enemies come to you. If not, you can just come to them. The intersection between all of them leads to very high damage compared to just extended or were apart. This is why enemies that just fall into the intersection just die immediately. It auto synergizes well with everything else, because again, you're going to get the crits, you're going to get the stuns. Also pay attention to that as well, by the way. Also the reduction of damage, also the lifesteal, the healing. You don't get even to see it because they're so fast. It just happens so frequently they don't even get to see it. Not even getting damage that you can actually see it. Because again, with this build, by the way, remember, you don't have to be there, right? You can just go into a safe place if you want to, because they are actually dealing the damage. So you can pay attention to the things on the ground, if there's some AoEs, rather than focusing on both dealing damage and that one. This is another advantage of that. It's a very powerful build. Of course, there are other ones, but this is, again, just it's so much fun to use. I'm just enjoying it so much. Tons of synergies here. Just amazing build. Stun, healing, damage reduction. Great, again, scaling well with lots of enemies for cooldown reduction. Tons of damage. Cover a big area. Allows you also to focus on dodging maybe AoEs if you need to, rather than be there in the fight up close. Great for movement. If you're moving fast, still you can just spawn them straight away and they follow you. Sorry, they're not following you. You can respawn them because of the great cooldown reduction. So almost everything that you do, we're going to eventually lead to also increased damage. It's really a spectacle and really fun game build to use. And because there are also things that are hitting very fast, which you can also increase, there are synergies that you can have with that. Just in case you decide to off-route and use something a bit different. All right? And you can even decide even to drop, for example, the most left one and just go with something that reduces the speed of enemies and also maybe give you some extra conviction shield. There are ways to make it even stronger in that aspect. But as a core build itself, it's absolutely shredding everything that I touch. And basically that's it. Maybe some other things that I forgot to mention, but tons of synergies, and just make sure that you have it in your memory, just in case you get it. Of course, try other builds. There's supposed to be many other strong builds. By the way, here I went with skill projectile amount, but you can go with high base damage. Of course, the highest you can get. So if I get like 9k, 1k, 900 or 1k, I would go with the higher damage. Lifesteal here I went, extra base damage. Physical resistance because I actually couldn't get it with the relics. Health, elemental resistance, great. Evasion, no, go with something else. You don't need evasion here. Cooldown speed, great. Remember, better you have, the more kind of you can play with this more frequently. And it's just great to have it, of course. Always remember, you can also execute, by the way, this one actively if you want to, but you don't have to. Cooldown speed, you can see I'm focusing lots of cooldown speed. movement speed, elemental resistance. You can get even higher, even 20 that I got, but I prefer the elemental resistance because the more elemental resistance you have there, you can actually play one with some other relics that might not have optimal elemental resistances for you to get to what you need in order to survive. So you can focus more on better synergies. So I prefer that. And here mana and skill mana cost. All right. Yeah, so this is basically it. Yeah, I just want to show you one more thing. Where is it? Yeah, here go to the highest one that you can, by the way. Also here you can go, by the way, with high. Again, once you kind of nail the cooldowns, you can even go with 49 because you saw how fast it can be. So it allows you to even deal more damage, right? So you can go safely here. This is also go to the highest because this also be used automatically. So automatically it's going to use this one, level 5, right? So upgrade, it doesn't really cost you anything because it will happen automatically unless you're going to activate manually. This one, the highest I went, and yeah, this is the lowest, level 1, just for dashing. And yeah, so this is for this one. If you want to see my skill tree, I actually make some changes, for the video, but basically focus, of course, on expanding your equipment inventory and leveling up. So pay attention to these. These are very, very important. What makes you very, very strong, the main difference is really leveling up the skills to deal more damage. This is so crucial. And this is for the synergies. So these are the ones you should kind of pay focus when you are traversing to be able to reach this when you can and when it's applicable. Make sure to reach these nodes. All right? Very, very important. All right, so basically that's it. Hope you find this one useful. This is just one of many builds, but this is a very, very strong one. Tons of advantages. Hope you find this one useful. Thanks for watching.